Number 8, the churning seas. We are now in chapter 3. We have left the safety of our mentor, Arleth Rose, in Anchorstone Harbor and are journeying across the sea to hopefully meet up with Wolf. All of that info is in the story, but basically number 8, Churning Seas, is a voyage etude. We've got 5 nights, 5 days at sea, and each day is sort of a mini etude. So let's share the screen. You can see we've got number 1, open seas, captain's log, day 1, setting sail, fresh breeze, crisp air, first sea voyage for young hero. That's you. You're the young hero. This one is relatively self-explanatory. It's got nautical vibes. The challenge here is to navigate fourths. Fourths are notoriously difficult on our instruments because it requires either a string crossing, a shift, or a 1-4 combo. So put a bunch of those in a row, and all of a sudden you've got to navigate quite a lot of things. So there's that. There's some kind of sort of more sensitive material here in the middle, and then it goes back to this pretty joyous, jaunty, exciting, cheesy sea music. Number 2, doldrums. This one needs a little bit of an explainer. So, captain's log, day 2. No wind, too hot, smells of old fish. Young one seems bored. So I have to imagine you're at sea. There's no wind. It's hot. The sun is bearing down on you, and there's really nothing to do. So what do? You play some games. You figure out some puzzles for yourself. The backing track in this one has some chapters. So again, YouTube, you can make chapters. As a viewer, you can see chapters. You just hit the show more button right there. And after these links, there's these timestamps that will bring you to the chapters. Each chapter is the start of a new movement. So if we click on doldrums, you'll hear we have our cue. Oh yeah, we have some water. We're just chilling in the water. So this is the track. This goes on for a lot of minutes. I don't remember, 7 or 8 minutes, something like that. In this time, you can explore playing and singing these small puzzles over the unchanging vamp. So, what you do with these puzzles is really up to you. I've just made some suggestions. So of course the most basic, most obvious is just to play them through, starting from the top. That was the top line, here's the second line. Here's the bottom line. So that's playing them all separately. If you wanted a real challenge, you can try and play these as double stops, or sing one line while you play the other line. To be honest, I haven't practiced this one yet, so I'm not going to demonstrate. That's for there. On the second little adventure here in this mini etude, you can do all sorts of things. You can play exactly as we just did. But you can also play different combinations of notes. So notice that there's 30-second notes, there's quarter notes, and there's eighth notes. That's almost all the rhythms. So you can decide, I'm only going to play the 30-second notes. I'm going to link them up from all of these different lines to form a continuous strand of 30-second notes. So that would look like this. I'm going to do this out of time. Something like that. So you can kind of mess around with the rhythms, you can mess around with the order, you can try to play things at the same time. And the best part is you can always grab a friend and play some of these together. This is really good for group class or pair work, where you can assign different lines to different players. And then all of a sudden you've got instant harmony. The last one of these little games is you can make a round with this. So you can figure out where in a round, just so you know, is when you have a very simple repeating melody, and there's two versions of it happening at the same time, offset by a little bit. So one starts on beat 1 and one starts on maybe beat 3 or beat 2. And all of a sudden you've got some interesting sounding harmonies. Like Row, Row, Row Your Boat is a simple round. So you can explore the round there as you please. Tempest is pretty self-explanatory. It's more cheesy, sort of Disney storm at sea kind of music. I think it's great. And this one is just as much a chromatic etude for the left hand as it is a bow etude, especially in the Legend version. These are all doubled. Tick, 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 tick. Very fast for the bow. Nausea. Here's another one that needs some explaining. So let's go to our chapters here. We'll go to Nausea. I think you can understand why we're nauseous after that big storm. This one is a whole tone scale exercise. And the difficulty in whole tone is that you have no parallel fifths across strings. You either have to do a diminished fifth or I guess an augmented fifth or a minor sixth. And in this one, there's 3 waves of nausea, all concluding with, you guessed it, very gross moment. So this is sure to be a crowd favorite. I actually can't think when that's going, so I'm going to stop that. The difference between the Noble and the Legend version is Noble is just as you see. It's just notes, and you play them as best you can. Intonation is tricky. It's also tricky that there's nothing really in the track that alerts you to if you're right or wrong. The only thing that will alert you to that is if you've met up on these gross moments, which there are 3. So count very carefully and make sure you're always playing within the whole tone scale. I believe everything in each one is whole tone. This one here is up, so bar 16. The second wave starts up a half step, so we're still doing whole tone. We're just not in the same scale anymore. And in the Legend version, this is made much, much more difficult with continuous same finger glissandi. So the idea is that you make these real muddy sounds, these real kind of gross. And, you know, it's uncomfortable. It's not that fun. It's very uncomfortably nauseous. So there's a little bit of a connection there. And I really recommend, if you're going to do this etude, that you follow the fingering, but you practice without the glissandos first. So that means that you have to master the shifts. Every single note is a shift. This is a great shifting exercise. And I've tried to do it so that every finger gets a little love through here. So you've got the first wave is all 2s. The second wave is all 1s. The third wave is 3s. And there's some 4s in here as well. So that's what I recommend for that one. And we can go back to the Noble version now. The last movement of this etude is one of my favorites because I've done something real cruel. And you'll see what this is. This is the battle. You are defending your ship from sea monsters. And you are watching them jump up on board and you have to fight them off the ship. But sometimes they jump into the water and then you're just waiting for them to reappear. If there's nothing on ship, you can't actually battle them. So these rests that you see here, 3 bars of rest, 5 bars of rest, 15 bars of rest, you have to count very carefully. And I'll show you what happens. So let's just follow along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There's just no way to predict. You just got to get really good at feeling a really steady tempo for this one. And that is kind of the etude here. It's just feeling super steady tempo. Also, when the track comes in with the actual sort of hero theme, by the way, it's so much fun. Let's just play it. Here we go. So you're trying to channel that heroism into your sound, and all while counting very hard through these rests. The legend version is significantly harder in the battle because you've got all these 16th notes, but the rests are the same, except for the legend version there's literally no cue at all. You're supposed to come in exactly with the track. In the noble version, there are a couple little tracks. So you've got a beat here, you've got 2 beats there, you've got a 2 beat there. So there's a little bit of a clue for you, but really good for counting. And let's get out of the screen share. If you've got any questions about that one, that's a long one. So 5 movements, I would treat them separately. There's chapters, as I said, you can navigate to any of them really easily. If you have any questions, email nick@nickravel.com. or come to a Zoom cafe. I'm going to host them semi-regularly as people sign up. You can sign up from nickravel.com/hero levels. See you in the next one.